You feel like you're caught in the middle, juggling things like taking kids to practices like soccer and baseball and football and all the travel sports that are going on, trying to save for college and other educational things, as well as taking care of mom and dad, paying bills and going to doctor's appointments, and all of those things combined. If so, welcome to the sandwich generation. It's an incredibly tough place to be. It's a loving place, but there are huge demands on your time, your energy, and your finances. And that's what we want to be able to address today, is how do you handle being in the sandwich generation and deal with all of these things? And how does it impact your finances, especially as it relates to you getting to and through retirement? The good news is there's a way to handle this, to make sure you're getting all of these things that you want and need to do to get done without sacrificing your own financial future. First, let's assess everything. We need to dig into things like budgets and debt and understanding where you are at financially today. So then we can determine how we're going to set a plan in place, a roadmap, if you will, for the future. Then we need to have a conversation with the parents. Most parents of later generations are very private people, number one. So this can be difficult, but these are hurdles that can be overcome. You need to dig into things like, what are their finances looking like? What do they have set aside? How is their debt and their budgets and finances? And do they have a solid estate plan in place? There's many more of these things that need to be looked at and much more complexity, but this is a good starting point for this with your folks. Again, this conversation can be difficult, but you have this balance, right? With your own children over here and dealing with your parents' stuff. So on this side of the coin is making sure your own finances are set, with the two big things being your children's education and possibly grandchildren's education, and everything you have to plan for your own financial future, not just the education, but including your retirement. And then on your parents' side, there are things that you probably know very little about, including Medicare and Medicaid and long-term care issues that can really do major damage to their finances, which ultimately can then cause difficulty for you in your own planning and your own finances. Number two is setting boundaries and prioritizing, right? Because again, we want to help and take care of and do the most that we can for both the kids and for the parents. But at the same time, we need to make sure that we're setting boundaries and understanding that we can't just blindly go into this and potentially deplete our own future savings and game plan for retirement. Your retirement and emergency funds come first. This is a non-negotiable. You ultimately just need to sit down individually with your kids and have a game plan. If you're definitely trying to still set up a game plan for their college, and again, it could potentially be your grandchildren's education, you need to understand what you would be able to do. You need to have a conversation with your siblings to determine who is going to be willing to help, not just for the physical needs, but the financial needs of parents potentially. And then sitting down with the parents to make sure that all of their ducks in a row, because if you've ever seen or know someone who's had to deal with their parents' estate and it went into probate court, it can be disastrous on all of your time and your treasury, your money. So that's something that needs to get in alignment. You need to meet with all of these different people to make sure, again, you're not at risk. Specifically with the siblings, especially, there's an understanding of who's taking responsibility and have an agreement that everyone's going to participate and pitch in, because otherwise, I've seen in many cases where one sibling's carrying all the load physically and financially, and that can be devastating. Number three is explore all the resources you have for long-term care planning. If you look at what the potential resources could be as it relates to Medicare and Medicaid, and there's many myths around what Medicare and Medicaid will pay for. Any type of long-term care health insurance programs that maybe your parents have purchased, or annuities that will pay extra income for long-term care stays or in-home care, as well as life insurance with living benefits. These are things you're going to want to look at and determine, basically to understand what resources are available. There could be veterans benefits. There are different veterans benefits that are available for those who served, and then there's local senior services that people ultimately can take advantage of. So we need to explore all of what those options could be, because if the day comes and care is needed and you haven't done this work in advance, then you're really scrambling to try to figure it out. Additionally, go in and determine, number one, do they have a will or trust and powers of attorney and medical directives? And if they do have those, when's the last time it was reviewed? Many of these wills and trusts we've seen over the years, they're really outdated. It's from when the kids were little. Now the kids are grown and have their own kids. So we need to make sure the wills, the trusts, power of attorney for the finances, and power of attorney for medical, or otherwise known as medical directives, along with HIPAA forms, are in place. And if there is a trust, is that trust funded properly so we are avoiding probate, which is one of the greatest benefits of a living trust. So make sure all of those documents are done and in place. One of the things we do with our clients every single year is to make sure that all the beneficiary designations are correct, and to make sure trusts and the estate is fully funded correctly, so that it's ease of use as the wealth and the legacy transfers to the next generation. And then making sure that you've reviewed every possible option, grants and scholarships and all of those different college opportunities. Have you been funding our Fund to 529 plan? This takes a lot of work going through it myself with 4 children. I can tell you it takes a lot of work to dig into these to determine the best way and the best place to send your kids to school, and how are you going to pay for that, how are you going to fund it. So again, that is not blowing up or depleting your finances for your own financial future. Finally, number 4 is self-care. Going through all of this is challenging and difficult. I can just tell you from my own perspective, being in this industry for 35 years, really understanding all of it. It's still a ton of work, but you've got to take care of yourself too, because those who are relying on you will need your time and attention and expertise. And so make sure you take time for yourself, plenty of rest, exercise, great nutrition, take time to get away. And that's why the siblings will help, right? If you're getting some help there, for sure. But make sure you're taking care of yourself through this process. Otherwise, I've seen in many cases where at the end, the caregiver ends up being the one who's needing care because of the depletion of their own health and financial resources. I would definitely be remiss to say that finding an expert, someone who can really help you, whether it's us or someone else in the industry that are truly experts in dealing with this with their clients and understanding, every angle. Obviously, we're coming from our own perspective, what we call the Barnett advantage, where we're looking at all of these pillars of things that we know can either lead to great success getting to and through retirement, or can be devastating on the other hand as well. And so all of these things are very difficult to deal with. There's lots of hidden things that can catch you off guard and can put you into some trouble as it relates to, how the money gets invested, how you're getting your income, what amount of taxes are you paying, are there any healthcare issues or holes in the armor, so to speak, as it relates to the healthcare and long-term care and the Medicare and the Medicaid, making sure the Social Security planning has been done well so you're getting the maximum amount of income. There's just a myriad of things. And you may have an interest in one and may be good at one, but it's the other ones that you're not really interested in or have expertise in that can get you into trouble. And that's where we're here to help you. So reach out for help, right? Whether that's through us or someone else. Being the sandwich generation, as I mentioned, it's a monumental undertaking. There's 2 sides of the coin. There's your own kids, potentially grandkids you're trying to plan for, and taking care of the parents at the same time. So just make sure you start the process, get working on that, and then seek help for those areas you don't feel comfortable with, or you feel you don't have the expertise and could use professional assistance. And so Barnett Financial and Tax is a place where you can get these answers. You can reach us at calling our phone number at 800-425-7044. You can go to our website at www.barnettfinancial.com www.bftwealth.com, or you can email us directly by going to myteam@bftwealth.com. And we're here to help answer any questions you have and look forward to having a conversation. Thanks so much and have a great day.